Let's jump right into it. Number 10. The Gargoyle. You've seen these grotesque stone creatures perched on old buildings, and you probably think they're just medieval decoration meant to scare people. But here's the twist. Gargoyles were actually ancient plumbing systems. These weren't just spooky faces, they were functional water spouts designed to channel rainwater away from building foundations. The word gargoyle literally comes from the French word for throat, because water would flow through their throats and out their mouths. Medieval architects turned a boring drainage problem into an art form. But the really clever part, the scarier the gargoyle looked, the better it supposedly worked at keeping evil spirits away from sacred buildings. It's like having a bouncer and a gutter system rolled into one stone creature. Next time you see one, you're looking at medieval engineering disguised as monster art. Number 9. The Spiral Staircase. Walk up any castle tower and you'll notice something weird. The stairs always spiral clockwise going up. It wasn't random. Medieval architects designed these staircases as defensive weapons. Think about it like this. If you're a right-handed attacker climbing up with your sword, the central pillar blocks your sword arm, making it nearly impossible to swing effectively. Meanwhile, the defender coming down has their sword arm completely free to strike. It's basically an architectural home security system. The spiral staircase turns every step into a tactical disadvantage for invaders. Some castles even had irregular step heights to trip up attackers who didn't know the pattern. Your home's staircase might look innocent, but it's descended from medieval death traps designed to give defenders every possible advantage. Number 8. The Rose Window. Those massive circular stained glass windows you see in cathedrals aren't just pretty decorations, they're cosmic maps. Medieval architects believed they were literally building heaven on earth, and rose windows represented the wheel of fortune and the cycle of life. But here's what's really mind-blowing, the mathematical precision. These windows follow perfect geometric patterns based on sacred geometry, where every petal, every section, every color placement follows divine proportions. The architects weren't just artists, they were mathematicians encoding spiritual beliefs into glass and stone. Each rose window tells a complete story, usually starting from the center and radiating outward like a visual encyclopedia. When sunlight hits these windows, they transform the entire interior into a kaleidoscope that was designed to represent divine light illuminating human understanding. You're literally standing inside a giant prayer made of mathematics and colored glass. Number 7. The Flying Buttress. These look like stone arms reaching out to hug buildings, and most people think they're just structural support. The flying buttresses were actually revolutionary weight transfer technology that changed architecture forever. Before buttresses, thick walls were the only way to support heavy stone roofs, which meant tiny windows and dark interiors. Flying buttresses moved all that structural work outside the building, freeing up interior walls to become massive windows. It's like having an external skeleton that lets the building's skin become transparent. This innovation didn't just make buildings stronger, it completely transformed how humans experienced interior space. Suddenly, buildings could be filled with light, creating those soaring cathedral interiors that make you feel like you're floating. The flying buttress is basically medieval architects figuring out how to make stone defy gravity while flooding interiors with heavenly light. Number 6. The Cornerstone. Every important building has one, and you've probably walked past thousands without realizing their significance. The cornerstone isn't just the first stone laid in construction, it's a time capsule and a magical talisman rolled into one. Ancient builders believed the cornerstone literally held the building's soul. Modern cornerstones often contain newspapers, coins, and documents from the construction date, creating an intentional message to future generations. But historically, cornerstones were placed with elaborate ceremonies involving prayers, offerings, and sometimes even sacrifices to ensure the building's stability and protection. The phrase cornerstone of society comes from this architectural tradition, the idea that some elements are so fundamental that everything else depends on them. When you see a cornerstone, you're looking at a building's birth certificate and protective charm combined into one essential stone. Number 5. The Dome. Every government building seems to have one, and that's no coincidence. Domes represent the heavens brought down to earth, which is why they've been symbols of divine authority for thousands of years. The Romans perfected dome construction and used them to show that their emperors had celestial approval. When you see a dome on a Capitol building, you're looking at architectural propaganda that says, the people inside this building have heaven's blessing to rule you. But here's the engineering genius. Domes distribute weight in all directions simultaneously, making them incredibly strong while using less material than solid walls. It's like creating a stone bubble that can support massive weight while appearing to float effortlessly. The dome shape also creates perfect acoustics, which is why many important speeches and ceremonies happen under dome ceilings. Every dome is basically a crown made of stone that whispers secrets about power and divine authority. Number 4. The Threshold. You cross them every day without thinking, but thresholds are loaded with more symbolism than almost any other architectural element. The word itself comes from thresh, the process of separating grain from chaff, because crossing a threshold was supposed to separate good from evil. Ancient builders embedded protective symbols, coins, and even iron nails into thresholds to create magical barriers against negative forces. This is why brides are carried across thresholds. It's not just romantic tradition, it's an ancient protection ritual. The height of thresholds was also strategically designed. Higher thresholds forced people to step up when entering important spaces, literally and symbolically elevating them as they crossed into sacred or significant areas. Every time you step across a threshold, you're participating in a ritual that's thousands of years old, designed to mark the transition from ordinary space to somewhere special. Number 3, the arch. The arch is probably the most underestimated architectural element ever created. You see them everywhere: doorways, windows, bridges, and they look simple. But arches are actually engineering marvels that revolutionize construction. Here's the secret: an arch transfers weight by turning it into compression force that flows down through the arch stones into the ground. It's like creating a stone rainbow that gets stronger the more weight you put on top of it. Romans figured this out and used it to build structures that are still standing after 2,000 years. But arches also carry deep symbolic meaning. They represent gateways between worlds, passages from one state of being to another. The shape itself mimics the sky, suggesting that passing through an arch connects you to heavenly realms. Every arch is both a structural genius and a spiritual gateway designed to make ordinary doorways feel sacred and monumental. Number 2, the spire. Those pointed towers reaching toward the sky aren't just architectural showing off, they're spiritual antennas designed to connect Earth with heaven. Medieval architects believed that the higher they could build, the closer they could get to God, so spires became literal piers made of stone reaching into the clouds. But spires also serve as community landmarks visible for miles, functioning like architectural lighthouses that guide people home. The engineering challenge of building something so tall and narrow required innovations in structural design that pushed medieval technology to its limits. Each spire represents hundreds of craftsmen risking their lives to build something that defies gravity in service of faith. Lightning rods weren't invented until much later. So many spires were actually struck by lightning regularly, which people interpreted as divine communication. When you see a spire, you're looking at humanity's attempt to build a ladder to heaven using nothing but stone, wood, and absolute determination. Number 1, the column. Columns support everything, literally and symbolically, and they're hiding way more meaning than you'd expect from what looks like a simple stone post. The 3 classical column styles, Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian, weren't just different decorative choices, they represented completely different philosophical approaches to life. Doric columns are plain and sturdy, representing strength and masculinity. Ionic columns have scroll-like decorations representing wisdom and femininity. Corinthian columns are elaborate with leaf patterns representing beauty and growth. Ancient architects chose column styles to communicate the building's purpose and values before you even walked inside. But here's what's really incredible. The spacing between columns follows mathematical ratios that create optical illusions. Columns appear perfectly straight and evenly spaced, but they're actually slightly curved and spaced irregularly to correct for how human vision works. Every classical building with columns is basically an optical illusion designed to look more perfect than reality. The columns you see aren't just holding up roofs, they're holding up entire philosophical systems about beauty, proportion, and human perception made manifest in stone. I'll make similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.